a lot has happened to the build-up of this particular election process in Ondo State. I would like you to, speak about, if at all, your observations and maybe reservations.
Well, in terms of observations, I could say that we've had in the past couple of days, since the beginning of this week, assurances and reassurances by the major stakeholders that everything will be done to make the election credible, that is free and fair. So first, on the part of INEC, they've had a series of engagements, which actually started the upper week with the signing of the peace accord by 18 political parties and their candidates pledging that they would conduct themselves peacefully. And the engagement continued till yesterday when INEC led the parties, agents, and so on to inspect the materials. That was on Wednesday, actually, at the CBN, the sensitive materials, to demonstrate that they were intact. At different forums, including the ones involving the International Press Center and the Center for Media and Society as partners under the European Union support to democratic governance. The INEC representatives told us that materials and personnel will be deployed very early. And then from the security agencies also came the assurance that their men will be on ground. For example, the Civil Defense Corps said that their men would be at every polling unit. The same thing the police have said. So these are the kind of statements we've had. These are the kind of assurances that we've gotten. And the reason why we were prompting them to give us these assurances is because we intend to hold them accountable for those promises. Because it's the election day that we're going to see whether these things would materialize. In terms of words, we can say that yes, or in terms of talk, we can say we've had a lot of talk. Now we are at the moment when these agencies need to walk the talk. And this is what we're actually looking forward to, as we're just a few hours away from voting. Obviously, there have been deployments across the state. Various INEC officials have moved to their different locations, which means that they are ready. Well, in terms of reservation, we can't be talking of reservation now, given the level of assurances. But we've also reminded them to avoid a repeat of some of the shortcomings that we observed in the Edo election. For example, during the Edo off-cycle governorship election, the INEC officials reported early at their duty posts. They were ready to move with the materials. But part of the election logistics is also that the security agents have to accompany them, and they can't move unless the security agents are there. And the security agents were late in Edo State. So we raised that and we said, look, you already know the time when polling should, the polling units should, the polling booths should open. So why don't you ensure that your men are also there so that they can move, with those personnel? One area of concern for us is the role of transporters in this whole business, because INEC does not have its own independent transport system. They rely on the Road Transport Workers Union and the Road Transport Employers. Then for the riverine areas, at least 2 local governments, they're going to be relying on the Maritime Workers Union, who will be providing boats for them to move, because they're going to travel on water. They're going to travel. We raised that, and they said that they've really had this assurance from these transport workers that everything would be okay. As a matter of fact, when we visited the INEC Secretariat on Wednesday, we saw so many vehicles ready to be deployed. We also actually, on a lighter but quite serious note, asked them if those vehicles were already well fueled, because we know the challenge that we're also having with fuel in the country, and they said no, everything was ready. So this is where we are. A number of observers have come to town. There have been a series of briefings by these civil society organizations, including those who are looking at the issues of women in this election, the issues of persons with disability.
Okay.
Today, this is just where we are. as far as what we've observed since we got to the States.